What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. The Black Dragon Disciple Marvalis still has our ear this week. Today, we'll be covering the ancient Egyptian deity, scratch that, ancient Osirian deity, Thoth, who we were hoping would see some additional stuff in Blood of the Ancients. Unfortunately, only Osiris and Wadjet got shiny, new, fancy official paladin codes, so we're doing a little bit of brewing. The stuff we do have for Thoth, though, appears in Empty Graves from the Mummy's Mask Adventure Path. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we get underway, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by Lord Minot. My friend, thank you so much for your support. Truly, this channel could not exist without people just like you. Now, let's dive in. So, in ancient Egyptian mythology, Thoth is one of the deities of the Egyptian pantheon. He's often depicted as the man with the head of an ibis or baboon. His chief temple was located in the city of Khumun, and he played very many vital and prominent roles in Egyptian mythology, such as maintaining the universe and being one of two deities, the other being Ma'at, his wife, who stood on either side of Ra's boat. In the later history of ancient Egypt, Thoth became heavily associated with the arbitration of godly disputes, the arts of magic, writing, the development of science, and the judgment of the dead. Thoth has overseen 3 epic battles between good and evil, acting as an arbitrator. The first battle took place between Ra and Apep, the second between Heru, Bekhtet, and Set, and the third between Horus and Set. In each instance, the former god represented order, while the latter represented chaos. If one god was seriously injured, Thoth would heal them to prevent either from overtaking the other. Thoth was originally a moon god. The moon not only provides light at night, which allows time to be measured without the sun, but its phases and prominence gave it a significant importance in early astrology and astronomy. The cycles of the moon also organized much of Egyptian society's rituals and events. Consequently, Thoth gradually became seen as a god of wisdom, magic, and the measurement and regulation of events and time. He's also known to be the secretary and counselor of the sun god Ra, and also is credited with the creation of the 365-day calendar. In Pathfinder, in a fun place called Osirion, and that was actually one of the first videos this channel put out, the Inner Sea region, a 5-minute tour in Osirion. If you'd like to check that out, go way back in the time before the channel had quality gear. Follow this card right up here to be directed. At the dawn of the Age of Destiny, ancient Osirion was founded by Asgahad I under the guidance of the god King Nethys. Though the people of Osirion eventually did adopt the worship of other deities venerated in the Inner Sea, they kept their faith to the old gods as well. In Osirion, temples to Nethys, Pharasma, and Sarenrae, for example, rose up alongside temples of Anubis, Isis, and Ra. During the Age of Enthronement, humanity's time of triumph, the ancient Osirian gods retreated to their divine strongholds in the great beyond. Though they continued to guide and protect Osirion from afar, they did turn their attention to a land on a distant world, the Old Kingdom of Kemet, ancient Egypt, planet Earth. The restoration of native Osirian pharaohs to the throne in the last century of Galerion's modern history has reawakened interest in Osirion's long history, along with renewed faith in the land's ancient divinities. In Pathfinder, to the Osirians, all knowledge and wisdom comes from Thoth. He is the god of science, mathematics, history, philosophy, religion, and wisdom. He's also the god of the moon and magic, particularly arcane magic. Thoth is also the patron of language, literature, and writing, and it's said that Thoth was the one who invented the hieroglyphics first used by ancient Osirian scribes. Thoth is the reckoner of years, recording the passage of time and details of all the events of life, from the honorable reigns of kings to the simple daily life of peasants. On Galerion, Thoth is the patron of archivists, scribes, researchers, and scholars. Mechanically, alchemists, witches, and wizards all worship him as the god of magic and spells. His temples usually include well-stocked libraries and archives, and often include orders of monks who venerate him for his knowledge and wisdom. Thoth is lawful neutral. His domains are darkness, knowledge, law, magic, and rune, with the subdomains arcane, language, inevitable, memory, moon, and wards. His favorite weapon is the sickle, and his symbol, a scroll with a lunar disc and crescent. Now let's dive into the homebrew, shall we? Thoth's paladins are probably a lot less the crusaders that are running around the world wound kicking demons in the face with plate-mailed boots, and a little more the guys that serve to protect knowledge across the material plane and even beyond. Be that a scribe, be that someone who protects archivists and archaeologists as they travel across the land. A little less the crusader, a little more the guardian. His Black Dragon Gaming Homebrew Paladin code, and again, if you think you could do this a little better, throw it in the comments, goes like this. I will be the guardian of knowledge across the planes. My sickle serves to protect both repositories of knowledge and those that teach or advance that knowledge. I will fairly mediate disputes between those I meet and record the details of the outcome for all to see. I shall record the passage of time, from the changing of years and ages to the changing reigns of rulers. Through this, I preserve the history of my people for future peoples to know. I shall serve to maintain the balance between good and evil. I will be the master of both mortal and divine law, and as such, I will see to it the two exist together in equilibrium. I shall stand at the side of any just ruler that requests my service, and serve as their recorder of knowledge, so all may know the truth of that ruler's reign. To perform Thoth's Deific obedience, again, another homebrew, spend an hour each morning recording all of the knowledge you gathered from the past day. The recording does not have to go into detail, but must contain an accurate account of the events that transpired that you witnessed. Once this is done, your obedience is complete, but if at any point you have the option to store all of your recordings in an archive, library, or similar place of knowledge, and choose not to do so, you lose all the benefits of your obedience until you atone. In return, add a bonus on linguistics checks equal to half your level. The bonus is sacred if you're good aligned, profane if you're evil, if you're neutral. Again, like all of these, you choose sacred or profane, and once you've chosen, it can't be changed. And now let's dive into some sweet Deific obedience boons, again, courtesy of yours truly. If you think you could do them better, throw them in the comments. Evangelist boons give us comprehend languages 3 times a day, tongues twice a day or once a day, communal tongues. At 16th level through the Lord of Divine Words, your understanding of knowledge has brought you a new mastery over the arcane. Use your wisdom modifier in place of your intelligence or charisma modifier to determine all class features and effects relating to spells you cast, such as bonus spells per day, maximum spell level you can cast, and the save DCs of your spells. At level 20, Thoth blesses you with the gift of true magical knowledge, and this blessing makes you a master of the arcane arts. Spells you cast that target only your allies, with a duration of less than 1 hour per level, increase their duration to 1 hour per level. In addition, you gain a bonus on checks made to overcome spell resistance, equal to half your hit dice. Sentinel boons grant us reveal secrets 3 times a day, Akashic communion twice a day, or once a day commune with texts. At 16th level, Thoth grants you insight into the vast knowledge accumulated over the ages. You gain a bonus equal to half your level on all knowledge checks, may make them untrained, and add your wisdom modifier in addition to your intelligence modifier on knowledge checks. At level 20, your mind becomes as a library for all knowledge. Treat all knowledge checks you make as though you had rolled a natural 20. Exalted boons grant us divine favor 3 times a day, prayer twice a day, or once a day, atonement. At 16th level, you understand the need for balance amongst good and evil, and work to maintain it amongst those you travel with. Allies within 30 feet of you with an aura of good, evil, or chaos may treat their alignment as lawful neutral, and non-hostile NPCs they interact with while within 30 feet of you have a starting attitude of helpful towards them, regardless of your ally's actual alignment or demeanor. If an ally commits a hostile act without being attacked first, provoked, or magically compelled to do so, they lose all of these benefits until they atone. At level 20, Thoth grants you the gift of true arbitration, and you can use this gift to direct your allies in battle. A number of times per day equal to your wisdom or intelligence modifier, whichever is higher. As a swift action, you may designate one foe who poses a direct threat to the knowledge of a region or plane. Allies with Smite Good, Smite Evil, Smite Law, or Smite Chaos treat this target as the appropriate alignment for the purpose of their Smite ability, though the extra damage is non-lethal if it would normally not be able to target the foe. I've spent a lot of time in Osirion, ancient or otherwise, in my homebrew settings. Personally, it's probably my favorite place in all of Golarion, and I'm so stoked for the Dominion of the Black in Doomsday Dawn coming up, as you guys all know by now, because the Dominion of the Black played a huge role in ancient Osirion, and whenever I think of ancient gods that stopped being worshipped for a while and only recently have come back, but were prominent during that age, I have to wonder how much was the Dominion involved in the ancient Osirian pantheon. If I was to GM for someone who worshipped an ancient Osirian god, that would probably play a pretty big role for that character and that character's faith as the campaign progressed. Do I know exactly what I would do with it? Probably depends on the campaign, to be honest with you. Some games might be a little more of the discovery that your god is actually a scary alien monster. Other campaigns might lead the character to realize that they were casting off their own beliefs, as their god was only ever an image drawn on a hieroglyph to represent the Dominion coming to Golarion. An image that became so popular that, as a whole, the nation of Osirion created a sort of mental god construct from which they could pull divine spells. And also, I have to say, on the other side of this coin, I have a lot of characters in my back pocket who worship ancient Osirian deities. The closest I've ever come to playing a necromancer at the tabletop did worship Set. And I've got a war priest in my back pocket who dual wields hand axes that hit like battle axes, under the wisdom and guidance of the Lady of Slaughter Sekhmet. But if I were to worship Thoth, I think I would have to play something along the lines of a full caster that wanted to do their very best to cast off their wisdom. The Imperial-blooded sorcerer using the wild-blooded sorcerer archetype, which allows them to cast off their wisdom instead of charisma, is the first that comes to mind. Though something like a battle cleric, or perhaps even a Qinggong monk, the monks that get a little bit of spellcasting, might also fit the role quite well. In any case, I will say that very few of my characters that adventure ever do so in the name of knowledge, and it would definitely be a huge right turn for me at the table to roleplay that out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But what do you guys think about Thoth? Would you worship him? Have you ever GM'd for a character who worshipped him, or any of the gods of the ancient Osirian pantheon for that matter? And how do you think we're going to see these gods come back and play a role, fingers crossed, in Doomsday Dawn? The first ever published bit of content for Pathfinder 2nd edition, which is going live right here on Black Dragon Gaming. I'll take 6 lucky subscribers through the giveaway, and hey, if you'd like to learn more about it, follow this card right up here to be directed to that giveaway. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship, where we have one more round of homebrew, we're covering the Norse god Odin, and it drops next Wednesday.